Do you remember when showed up and then they pulled out their
Yeah.
and then they got into that? It was so crazy.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Star Wars Explained Weekly Q&A. I'm Alex.
I'm Molly.
And we are going to talk about some non-Acolyte things. I mean, we're still going to answer Acolyte questions, but it's time to catch up on some non-Acolyte Star Wars stuff. But before we get into that, let me send a shout out and a thank you to Michael Green, who joined our Patreon at the Jedi Council level this last week, which is insanely generous. So thank you, Michael. We look forward to getting to know you a little better. Now, what did we get up to this past weekend?
I got invited to a really cool little influencer thingy.
I still don't know who or how or why all of that happened, but it was very fun.
Listen, I don't ask questions. When I get invited to stuff like that, I just go.
Well, we went and we took two of our friends, and the whole time we were like, is this a real thing? Are we about to walk into a Saw-style trap? Or like, what's happening?
But it was real.
Yeah.
Real fun.
Okay.
But yeah, it was just like a little influencer press event thingy for Deadpool and Wolverine. It was a literal Deadpool party, which was cool. And we just got to hang out for a couple of hours, which was cool. There's a lot of cool people there, some other like bloggers, other TikTok influencers, things like that. And I won something.
Yeah, you won tickets to go see Deadpool. So
from like a beach ball game that I wasn't even really a part of until the very end.
You were basically just standing there with a margarita hitting the beach ball back and somehow won tickets.
I just kind of like wandered into the game.
I was actively trying and I lost right away. And you were just sitting there like...
I was Weekend at Bernie's-ing it until the very end, and then I was like, boom. I didn't win. I think I got second place, but
you still got tickets.
Yeah, I won. Oh, I should have brought it up here. It was like a really cool like Stanley Cup, the water bottle, not the trophy. I was realizing that maybe some people watching this channel wouldn't know what a Stanley water bottle looked like. Anyways, it's a giant metal like water bottle that has like Deadpool stuff on it. It was cool.
And the tickets were inside.
Yeah, it had like little tickets with Fandango gift codes on the inside, which I didn't even see those in there until we left the event. And I was like, oh, this has tickets in it.
And then me and all of our guests grabbed the tickets and we're like, the cup is yours and we'll take the tickets. You still got a ticket.
I still got a ticket.
But we're filming this on Thursday. We're going to see Deadpool tonight, which I'm looking forward to. I don't think I've seen an MCU movie in theaters in a long time. I think since Thor Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder, yeah.
So
we skipped a bunch.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen them once they came out on Disney Plus, but
I skipped a bunch.
Yeah. So we're not going to know how it is by the time this video comes out, but we will have seen it by Saturday. So I figured I'll just give you a couple options and you can we'll figure out what our opinion of the movie is, and then you can throw in what's in there. So it was good. It was bad. It was mid.
Do you remember when showed up and then they pulled out their
Yeah.
and then they got into that? It was so crazy.
That's like vague, but honestly, I feel like it'll fit several scenes. Other than that, this past weekend, we basically just sat around and did nothing, which was nice.
Very nice.
Didn't have to edit through the weekend or anything like that.
Yeah, we just hung out. We went to an improv show Saturday night. Saturday was like our big night out for us to celebrate just kind of being done with another show. You know, I'm sad that the Acolyte is over, but we always have a night to where we just kind of go out and celebrate after a big show like that is over. And
it's just surviving all of it.
Just kind of like, whew, okay, we can kind of relax. And so we went to dinner, we went to a show, we went to a tiki bar, and then we went home, and the next day was rough.
I was fine.
It was rough for me.
I was fine.
Those tiki drinks, they'll get you. They're so tasty.
They were very good.
Shout out to Mambo Zombie. They make really good drinks.
To get back into some Star Wars talk, Ormappa and Oncoming Storm ask, what comics, stories, and characters do we hope continue on in the post-Return of the Jedi comic era? So that was some news that came out, I think, earlier this week. It was like Sunday and Monday. Marvel revealed that once the Star Wars run and the Darth Vader runs end with issue 50, which I believe will be September, they're going to be done, and then in October we are just moving into the post Return of the Jedi era. We've all been wondering, people have been asking us on this Q&A, where do you think the comics are going to go next? And honestly, the post Return of the Jedi era wasn't my number one choice, but it was what I thought was most likely to happen.
It makes the most sense.
Yeah, and it's interesting the way they're doing it. So I think they announced 3 4-issue kind of little mini-series that are all going to build up to the Battle of Jakku. So I don't think they're going to do like a big Star Wars reboot the way that they did after The Empire Strikes Back. Once the comics hit that, they rebooted, went back to issue 1, and then we got to issue 50. I figured we'd do another reboot. And honestly, they could have done that because we had like 50-something issues in between A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back. We had 50 issues in between Empire and Return of the Jedi. So it's another year to the Battle of Jakku. They could have done another 50, I guess.
I'm curious, have they ever done a comic adaptation of Princess and the Scoundrel?
No. I mean, that book was only a couple years old, so...
Yeah. I don't know. I love the story in that book, and so it would be fun if they did do a comic adaptation because it fits the timeline.
And, well, you might be onto something because it does seem like they are pulling from books, old mobile games, like the comics that or the covers they've shown have Governor Adelhard and a Purge Trooper on it, but not the original Purge Trooper.
Not the one from the video games.
Not from the video games or Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is from Star Wars Uprising.
Okay, so a different mobile
right.
Mobile video game.
Yeah,
not from the Star Wars Jedi games.
So I'm curious if they're gonna work in why this is also called a Purge Trooper, or if it's something, I don't know what they're gonna do with that. I just think it's funny that there are a lot of Purge Trooper variants in Star Wars.
Yeah, the Imperial Remnant, they're a little scattered. They get their wires crossed.
Governor Adelhard is like,
oh man, they already have a Purge Trooper. Well, we got our own Purge Trooper.
He's like, I thought of a great name for this trooper. I'm going to call it the Purge Trooper. And everyone's like, we already have several of those. So I do think that there's a chance that they will be pulling from several books and comics and just a bunch of stuff from that era and maybe try to tell it as a cohesive story. Could get some Battlefront 2 like Iden Versio in there.
Ooh, I would love to get some of Leia's perspective when Luke does the Vader funeral pyre. Isn't that in
Princess and the Scoundrel?
Princess and the Scoundrel. She kind of like talks about it like an inner monologue kind of in the book.
She knows that Luke had a funeral for Vader and then goes to the pyre and like not to pay her respects, kind of the opposite to show her fury. Right.
But it was kind of closure for her, which is nice. I know it is picking up like right then, right at
I think so.
Like right around the Battle of Endor, or right after.
Which, yeah, several stories have done that already. So it'll be interesting if they're just going to adapt a lot of different things. Or if it's going to be all new and kind of filling in little gaps. But with only a year in between Endor and Jakku, it's like there aren't that many gaps that I feel need filling in. More Iden Versio, I do think would be nice because her turn in the video game, like the video game campaign was so short that it just kind of rushed through her story. So we might be able to slow things down a little bit more. I could see that.
Yeah.
I do hope that like Dr. Aphra is involved in these stories. I don't want her to just be dropped from the comic storyline.
I did watch the old trailer for Star Wars Uprising, and it was pretty cool. I don't think I had ever seen it. So I'm interested to get to know some of those characters. One of them I think I had seen before, and I think they've been in the comics. They kind of look like a Night Sister.
Oh, Deathstick.
Deathstick. Mm-hmm. I kept thinking their name was Deathstroke, and so I would Google it, and I'm like, no, that's not. That's definitely not right.
You were close.
Deathstick.
Yeah, I mean, she's another character that was in like the Bounty Hunters comics, so
she has a cool design.
Yeah, there's a chance for like her and Valance, and I think that this could be kind of like a comic crossover event of sorts if they just bring all of our comic characters in together. I think, this sounds kind of experimental, but I think I like that they're doing 3 4-issue miniseries that are all going to tell an ongoing story. I feel like 50 issues of any like ongoing story, by the end of it, I'm kind of burnt out and I'm ready for the reboot. So if they're just doing 12 issues, I'm like, okay, that feels like a happy middle ground. Because I also haven't been super into a lot of the 4-issue miniseries that they've been doing recently. I'm like, that doesn't seem like long enough. So if we get basically a 12-issue series, this is confusing to talk about.
On the Star Wars Books and Comics Twitter, they say it's 3 4-issue miniseries that comprise a 12-issue maxi series, which a lot of people were kind of confused with the word maxi series, including myself. We have Insurgency Rising 1-4, Republic Under Siege 1-4, Last Stand 1-4.
I think that maybe we should look at this kind of like Andor. It's all Andor, but you have your little arcs. So we got 3 4 episode arcs basically. That create this maxi series, which is a term I'd never heard before. I don't know much about the comics industry, but I like that we will kind of be able to reboot things. So this isn't going to last like a really long time in the comics world. I mean, I think you just told me it was all going to be in 2024.
Yeah.
So I guess it's going to be wrapped up pretty quickly.
I think so. Yeah, this says all mini-series that we just mentioned will be released this year. So weekly and bi-weekly.
So that's a fast release for Star Wars comics. Usually it's 1 issue per series per month. Or less. So we'll see if that holds true, but I wonder if they're just gonna we're gonna do a little post Return of the Jedi thing, and then maybe once that's done, they will introduce here's the next full-on mainline comic we're gonna do.
There's a good chance all of this will be cleared up tonight at the San Diego Comic-Con panel.
That's true. Great segue, Molly, because our next question comes from John Hall, who asks, what do we expect to see in the Lucasfilm panel at San Diego Comic-Con? So again, we're filming this on Thursday. That panel is tonight. We have no idea what's going to happen there. They're covering publishing and Star Wars Outlaws. So yeah. We're going to guess, and I guess you can then throw up checks or X's over what we got right or wrong. I'm not expecting any huge announcements at all. I don't think.
Probably not.
I don't think they're going to announce the next live action series after.
No.
Andor.
I think it'll be mostly books, comics, video game.
Okay, I'll throw out a wild prediction that they will announce a tie-in book to The Acolyte. People have been asking about that. We're getting the Kelnaka comic, but maybe hot off the heels of The Acolyte wrapping up, they'll say, we're going to do a Master Indara book, or Justina Ireland is going to write a Vernestra Rowe book that goes from the end of Phase 3 to The Acolyte, something like that.
And she's going to be there. So the panel's got Justina Ireland, Tessa Gratton, and Kevin Scott, moderated by Patton Oswalt.
George Mann's there, too. Get him up on stage.
Get him up on
Get
stage.
Him up there. And Jake Bartok. Jake is doing art for the comics that are coming up soon.
Maybe they'll give him front row seats at least. They can sneak up there.
Yeah, they should be up there too. I'm expecting some publishing news. I think we're kind of running outside of the High Republic. We know all the books that are coming there. We know about the Mace Windu book that's on the way. Other than that, I think we might not know what books are on the horizon. So it feels about time to announce just, here are our non-High Republic books that are coming out.
Yeah. I would love any tie-in material for Acolyte. We are getting the Kelnaka comic. I don't know when.
It's soon. I want to say September.
Okay, well, in that case, I will say a tie-in novel for Outlaws.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
I would love to be able to really get to know Kay and maybe ND5. Probably not them together unless it's set during the game, because I think they meet during the game. I can't remember, but maybe something to get to know them a little more.
They could do, like, they haven't done just a gaming novelization in a while. They used to do it all the time. Like, The Force Unleashed just had a novelization of the game. Yeah, I don't know. A backstory for some of the characters would be fun. Indy 5, I mean, just like Tales from the Sexiest Droid in the Galaxy. Let's just get Indy 5's diary.
Aw. That would be cool to have a book all from a droid's perspective. And then on top of that, still Outlaws related, I will say that they're going to announce DLC available soon after a game's release where you can play as Nix.
Okay.
Because that's what I want.
You just want to play as, like, it's Nix and Kay is following you around, but instead of ordering Kay to, like, go distract guards, it's just, give me treats.
Yeah. Pet me.
Rub my belly. I'm tired of this. Bite you. Basically a cat simulator.
Yeah. I mean, look how well Stray did.
It's true. It was a fun game.
I have another guess.
Okay.
Since Tessa Gratton is there, we're going to get the uncut...
dramatic reading of Chapter 53.
Not just the uncut X-rated version.
Here's what I wanted to write.
Temptation of the Force.
Yeah.
Please don't be an exclusive, if that's true.
What they should do is have Tessa write the in-universe romance novel that was mentioned, I think, way back in Light of the Jedi.
Oh, yeah.
But just...
Wait, was it a novel or was it like a hollow drama?
A hollow drama, hollow something. Like, but she could just write that story.
Yeah.
Have that be a High Republic, like, in-universe tie-in.
Love it.
All right, another wild guess is that they will tease the next big publishing initiative. The same way that for a while the High Republic was just called Project Luminous. Maybe they will say, you know, the High Republic is wrapping up in less than a year in 2025. So what are we doing next? And they'll Project something or other.
Yeah.
That'll be the code name.
That would be exciting.
Just to have a tease that something else is coming, because I really want them to just repeat this format and let's get 5 authors or so and let them just carve out their own area of the galaxy.
Could it be Project Luminous 2?
Project Luminous.
Too bright, too luminous.
Project Luminous 2, too light, too life. Project Tuminous, too light, too life. Speaking of Comic-Con, the people out there are lucky enough to get to go to Mos Eisley, which I'm very jealous about. We got to go to their San Diego concert last year because we were at Comic-Con. But we will be going and participating at the Mos Eisley and Dragon Con in Atlanta at the end of August. We've just been shouting that out for the past few weeks because I love punk emo music, and that's what it is. It's a punk emo night that's Star Wars themed, and people dress up and bring their lightsabers and then dance to amazing music for a while.
Yeah.
So I'm excited they're coming to our hometown.
Yeah, it's going to be at the Masquerade. It's not affiliated with Dragon Con, but it is the same weekend, and there's going to be a ton of people in town that weekend, and it's not far from the main hotels, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Thursday night, Dragon Con. We're going to be there partying. I keep saying it, but I think it's the perfect way to kick off Dragon Con weekend, so come check it out. Moving on, Graham Gaskill asks, will we get a Skeleton Crew trailer at D23? So the Acolyte's over, and Star Wars fans were already looking to the next thing. It is interesting that it's been 16 months since we saw footage of Skeleton Crew at Star Wars Celebration last year.
Yeah.
So, you know, they have a trailer cut.
Yeah. That is weird that we haven't, but I mean, maybe they just really wanted to give Acolyte room to breathe.
Well, it's so interesting because it got a year delay. Rumor was it was supposed to come out November 2023. One of the castmates was talking about how, like, yeah, I think it's coming out in November. Mm-hmm. So that's what Star Wars fans latched onto. And
those kids are going to all be adults by the time this is out.
Right. The rumor was that it got delayed a whole year, so I would guess it's going to come out around November or December of this year. I think the trailers tend to start dropping like 2 months in advance, and D23 is on August 9th. It's not far away. So I'm doubtful. Like I'm not expecting anything at D23, but also just because I know that they have the footage,
Mm-hmm.
they might go ahead and start doing it.
When's the last time we got a Star Wars trailer from D23 though?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
I know they've done it. I think they released some stuff for Rise of Skywalker at D23.
Yeah, it's possible. I think they'll wait a little longer and just put it out on a random Tuesday morning, just to mess with our schedules.
But now that I think about it, we had the first Acolyte trailer, I think, come out in March. And then, 2.5, almost 3 months later, the series started. So I guess there's potential. And, D23 is around the corner. So it does make some sense. I feel like they might think it's too early. I don't necessarily do, because this is another project that it's part of the Mandoverse, but it's not heavily tied in. You're not going to have just Grogu walking around that they can point to that and be like, look, Grogu's back. Everyone watch this.
Mm-hmm.
These are new characters, a bunch of kids, a different concept for Star Wars that I do feel like they should start spreading the word about early so people can wrap their heads around it.
Yeah, I do agree with that, definitely. I think it comes down to what else they have planned to talk about at D23, because it is all Disney stuff, and if Disney has these other big things they want to announce and talk about, they're probably going to push that till afterwards.
Yeah. I feel like they usually do talk about Marvel and stuff there. I think in the past, maybe D23 is focused on the parks and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So maybe they'll announce some new characters for Galaxy's Edge. But yeah, I'm not expecting it to happen.
Let's get the Stranger at Galaxy's Edge.
Just walking around
With those
growling.
arms.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's just Manny. It's just Manny Jacinto walking
that
around,
would
because who
scare
else?
little kids for sure.
Yeah. Everyone's looking at his arms like, those aren't Manny's arms.
Nah.
I recognize those arms anywhere.
Yeah, I would feel bad for anyone who had to try to live up to that standard.
Yeah. Speaking of the Stranger, you're doing very well at segues today. Molly doesn't know what questions are about to be asked, but you keep
I never do.
Bringing stuff up. Vaxsteel asks, what do we think happened between Vernestra and the Stranger when presumably he was her Padawan, apprentice, something?
Well, interesting that she used the word pupil and not Padawan.
That's true. But so did Obi-Wan. And...
I think it's just that, they wanted to use a word that people remember Obi-Wan saying, but could be something a little bit different. It could be during a time where she was out being a way seeker or something like that, out away from the temple, which I think would be cool to see.
I think so. Vaxsteel says that some people are using this as proof that Vernestra is evil, because she must have attacked him for no reason, and I'm like, that is not where my head went at all.
No.
I in my head canon right now, I think whoever the Stranger was as a Jedi, Padawan, whoever, I think that he probably went off the deep end and needed to be stopped. I'm guessing that he was doing something violent. She non-lethally hit him in the back with her whip to stop him.
Yeah. And
then he got mad and said to Osha, I was cast away just like you were. It's well, we don't know the whole story.
Yeah.
What did you do?
He's really good at twisting the truth to sound like the good and the right thing to whoever he's speaking to.
Right. So that just seems like his thing, where he's going to tell Osha something that is kind of true, but without the context.
Yeah.
And part of that is, having read Vernestra's story, I don't want her to just have straight up attacked him for no reason. So I don't think that happened right now. That just seems completely out of character for me.
Yeah. I don't know what exactly happened. I mean, nobody does really, but I kind of hope it's maybe just a big misunderstanding. Well, the big misunderstanding thing we've already kind of got with the Acolyte, but it could have been a mistake. It could have been an accident. It could have been yeah, he was trying to do something really bad, and yeah, she was like, I have to stop him. We still don't know if he's like technically super old. The age thing is still really up in the air because Vernestra is so old that he could be a lot older than he looks, and it could be something with the dark side keeping him alive.
People
longer.
have theorized that Plagueis could be stretching his life out.
Yeah, so who knows how old Chimere would have been when all this happened.
Yeah, I could still go either way on that. I do think that they're hinting that it was a long time ago and longer than would seem possible for his age. But also, Manny Jacinto is 30-something, and if he's just saying, like, yeah, it was 20 years ago, I'm like, that is a long time from my human point of view.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, when you say a long time in Star Wars, that could mean anything.
However, that does kind of go back to when he first saw Soul. Well, not first, when they were battling and he's like, you don't recognize me. And people were like, oh, well, yeah, they saw each other 2 episodes ago. Or maybe he's asking, like, you don't remember me? Mm-hmm. Like, you should remember me.
Yeah, if he was ever at the temple.
Yeah. So there's a lot of possibilities with him right now, but as far as his scar goes, I don't think it was just that Vernestra, out of nowhere, hit me with her light whip for no reason. I'm like, no, you were probably doing something.
That's the thing, like, throughout watching The Acolyte, we kept theorizing, you know, is this person evil? Is this person evil? Is this person going to be the big bad at some point? And it never came to that. So I don't want to assume Vernestra is evil or was evil at any point in her life. I think it's all based on an accident or just something terrible that happened that she did not think he survived. Because her reaction when she sees or senses him is like very shocked. Yeah.
Yeah, I was unsure on... I don't know if I would go as far to say that she thought that he died. Like, I could see it that he did something, she needed to stop him, and did so non-lethally but hurt him, and then he was kicked out of the Jedi Order. But then that raises the question, like, no one kept tabs on him?
Right.
So, yeah, maybe. And, you know, if we're looking at The Acolyte as a series, it does make sense to just have 2 sides to this story, and maybe Vernestra did go a little too far for whatever he was doing. I don't think it was for 0 reason, but maybe it didn't warrant being hit in the back with a light whip.
Yeah. I think whatever it is, Plagueis was there to pick up the pieces.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, just the same way that the stranger was there for May to be like, you're suffering, you want me to help you get some payback? Plagueis was probably there to be like, Jedi cast you aside. You want to get some payback? Come on over.
We got good soup.
We got Oreos, and all of them are apparently the dark side ones. We have yet to find the blue cream.
That's true. I am never going to stop trying. I will eat all the Oreos it takes.
That's all the time we have for questions today. If you want to leave a question for next week's video, just put it in the comments below or sign up for Patreon to join our weekly Q&A discussion. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and Blue Sky.
And as always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.